A lot of the time, we're focusing on the wrong end of the stick here. And that's the magic pill that you're looking for in all the wrong places. And I know that I'm not the only one that does this because I've seen the exact same comment in Facebook groups that I'm a part of. When you realize that there's 100 people in a room talking about photography, but only 9 of them are serious, that leaves quite a bit of room for you to get in if you want to become one of those serious ones. Hey, I'm Tracy from Red in the Wool Photography, and you're in the right place today if you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel of your own, whether that's photography related or just in general, especially if you're really anxious to get going and you've put it off for years like I did. And this is not going to be another how-to video. This is a real pull up a chair and grab yourself a coffee because we're going to go deep kind of episode and get your mindset right, not just the logistics. If you're serious about starting a YouTube channel but you just haven't pulled the trigger yet, I'm going to guess you're kind of like I used to be. You know everything you're meant to be doing, but you're still mentally sitting at a stop sign. Ergo, this has become a mental game, not a logistical one. And even if there are things that you're still not quite sure of, like how to upload to YouTube correctly or how to edit in Premiere Pro, there's a million videos on that. The logistics aren't beyond you. And if you have any questions, reach out in the comments and I'm sure we can help you figure it out. Right, so support, check. Let's get on to the going bit. I want to share some of my ups and downs and some of the things that finally helped me pull a trigger and turn that red light into a green light. And the power of knowing the exact comments and feedback that you want in your comments section and in your DMs. A lot of the time, we're focusing on the wrong end of the stick here. Okay, time to change the beat to something a little more chill, and this is going to be a huge episode. So I recommend grabbing a coffee and a pen and paper, and let's get into it. I had to make a huge mindset shift when I finally got my YouTube up and going this year. And if you watch my last video on the biggest lesson I learned in the first 6 months of doing stock photography, you'll know that I actively went into this year with no ego. What I mean by that is that it was time for me to come into this year with an open mind, to learn and integrate the lessons rather than just repeating them year in, year out like Groundhog Day. So where I've failed this year, I've tried to fail quickly and get back on the horse. Lesson number 1, mindset is what sets you apart from where you are right now to where you want to be. And that's the magic pill that you're looking for in all the wrong places. It's mindset, not how clever you are, or how pretty or not that you are, or how intelligent or not that you are. Because that last one really got me. I'm like, I consider myself to be a fairly intelligent person, and yet for some reason, I just couldn't get past these hurdles. I was smart enough to get the logistics, but I just couldn't get my mindset around it. And I know that I'm not the only one that does this because I've seen the exact same comment in Facebook groups that I'm a part of. I'm intelligent. Why are other people able to do this and I'm not? It's mindset. I tried to start this channel about 3 years ago, but I could just never really relax into it. And the few videos that I did do, I was never really, not proud of. That's kind of the wrong word. I was really proud of myself for not having a complete and utter panic attack every time that I turned the camera on, because that's where I started. But I just wasn't sure about the videos that I was putting out. And I think it also really came across on camera. And I believe that that's why, even though I had about the same amount of videos up then that I do now, I'm like 10 times ahead of where I was then. I just kept watching more how-to videos in hopes that it would help, and the truth is it didn't. It wasn't really until I did the harder mindset work, which actually, truthfully, came not from YouTube, but from having my nervous system shot after the big bug that nobody likes to talk about, and we had a lot of other things happening in the background, like looking after my father-in-law who had dementia and things like that. So I had to admit that I needed to get back to the point where I was in control of my mind, not my mind being in control of me. And to the point that I was able to finally pull the trigger to start this YouTube again, to start on my stock photography journey, and to start doing all the other things that I'm working on this year. I'm no more intelligent specifically than I was 3 years ago, but my mindset is completely different. Second lesson, and another really big mindset change, is going from the idea that you have to be the leader or the authority in your niche to being somebody that joins in the conversation. One puts pressure on you to be the authority and not screw up and kind of brings out the big bad imposter syndrome monster. And the other allows you to simply join in a conversation. There's no pressure. You're just joining in, not having to be the leader. Just as an aside, if you are struggling with imposter syndrome, I did a video on that a few weeks back, so I'll put the link in the description. And it has a workbook to go with it to help you feel confident in your skill set. It's kind of like finding a rock in the middle of quicksand. So have a look at that if you need that. But back to it. I mean, there are days that we need specific answers, and we do look to the gurus in our niche, the people that are the leaders in our chosen area. But some days we just want support, and we just want to see somebody else that's kind of in the same situation as we are. Sometimes we're just after conversation, going deeper and looking at something from a different viewpoint. And that's where I wanted to go with my channel. I wanted to be a voice in my age group that didn't specifically talk about cameras, but really just discussed everything. There are so many tutorials, and I probably will do one at some point in time when I find something I'm really excited about. But it's just as important to see the thought processes and the mindset that goes into the behind the scenes of everything. The mental strengths and skills that help other creators get from point A to point B. Also, it's really important to remember that some channels you enjoy watching and some channels you don't. You know, when you're watching TV and you're like, nope, I just cannot watch that actor. That actor for me is Will Ferrell. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I just can't watch him. Again, not bad movies, not a bad actor, just one of those people. And it's the same thing on YouTube. I have looked things up and then switched them off in the first 10 seconds and gone, nope, I am not listening to this person for the next 5 minutes. And it's not that it's not the right information, it's just something about that person you're like, no. And I can guarantee there's lots of people like that with me, because my drop off in the first 30 seconds, people are coming and going, this is not what I'm looking for, or this is not the right person that I'm looking for. It is what it is, but you lovely people are here, and I have like a couple of hundred people watching to the end of some of my videos, so I'm pretty like mind-blown about that. When you look at your statistics, you can be a little bit like, that's not cool, but then when you actually add up those numbers and go, actually there's like 57 people watching to the end of my video, or there's 230 people watching to the end of my video, you go, man, that's pretty cool when you first start a new channel. Basically what I'm getting to is that we all have people that we're attracted to watch and people that we're not attracted to watch, just like in life. So when you're thinking, isn't the platform saturated with photographers already? The answer's kind of yes and kind of no. Think about it like this. It's the same concept like watching TV shows that you enjoy. If you like watching house renovation shows, then you're probably watching like Love It or List It, Masters of Flip, Unsellable Houses. And then if you're like me, you go onto YouTube to look up old episodes when they stop putting them out on TV. And then you start watching like tiny house shows like Living Big in a Tiny House, produced by another Kiwi. And no, New Zealand is small, but I don't know Bryce personally. So the point is this, you don't just pick one of those shows and go, nope, this is the one and only home renovation show I'm ever going to watch, and that's it. You'll probably love at least a dozen in any genre that you want to watch, but it doesn't mean that you'll like every format or every presenter. Case in point, I love watching Love It or List It, but only the Canadian version. I just cannot get into the American version, and I don't know why. So that's a really good example. That is the exact same show, and yet I connect with Jillian and Todd in the Canadian version, and I just can't watch the American version. So out of the hundreds of shows in your genre, you will have 10 or 20 that are your favorites. And it's the same thing in the photography niche. Just because you're watching me doesn't mean that you're not watching a bunch of other photographers. I mean, if you look, you've got like Peter McKinnon and Maddie Hapoya and Chris Howe and all the big photographers that are on YouTube, and you go, why would I come in? But then some people are looking for smaller channels. Some people are looking for somebody that they can actually connect with, because these guys are now so big, they don't have the time to be answering all their comments and stuff. So you're looking for somebody that you can have a bit more of a connection with. Or in my instance, one of the problems that I have with these guys, I think they're amazing. I love them. They're very, very inspiring. but they don't have the life that I have. I live in a small town. I'm stuck at home most of the time. I have 3 kids that we homeschool, so the lifestyle that they lead is not a lifestyle that I can lead. So as much as I find them really inspiring, when I'm looking for inspiration, I'm actually looking for somebody that's a lot closer to where I am in my journey. And that's one of the reasons that I started this channel. It's your fault. And on that topic, I came across my new favorite small YouTuber today. His name is Patrick Gerard Photography, and I'll leave the link to his channel below. And I found it when I was trying to title this episode. So check out his channel, really similar to mine, except he's Canadian and I'm Kiwi. And this is a really interesting thing too. I actually don't really like doing talking head videos. So if you head over to Patrick's channel, you'll see the style of a lot more of what I would love to be doing, of being out with the camera, being able to speak clearly without having to have a script to follow. I love that he has a fantastic visual journey that he's taking you along with as well, not just the static background that I do. So I still have goals of where I'd like to go with this channel and the skill set that I'd like to up level during my journey. And this comes all the way back to my original point. You don't have to be the next Peter McKinnon. You can just join in the conversation with the rest of us and do it at the skill level that you're at. Patrick made some really good points in his video that sometimes those big creators can be quite overwhelming, like I was saying before. Sometimes you're actually looking for somebody that's just a few rungs up from where you are. So maybe you're at the perfect point in your photography journey to be inspiring the next group. And just to nerd out on you for a minute, because I'm the kind of girl that likes to do her math homework. If you get to monetization level, which is only 1,000 subscribers, you're in the top 9% of all YouTubers. Think about that for a second. That means that 91% of the channels that are on YouTube have already given up or aren't serious enough to grow their audience. All of a sudden, when you realize that there's 100 people in a room talking about photography, but only 9 of them are serious, that leaves quite a bit of room for you to get in if you want to become one of those serious ones. And it's not uncommon to take a year or two to get those first 1,000 subscribers. I'm not saying you have to go all in and get them all in the first couple of months or you're not serious. Like most people, the average I think is 16 months, I think I read. And here's the thing, if you can get to 1,000, you can get to 10,000, which puts you in the top 1.75% of all YouTube creators. That's pretty insane. Do you know the silver play button? You need 100,000 subscribers to get the silver play button. And it looks like there's so many creators out there that have it, but actually it's less than 0.28% of all of the YouTubers that achieve that. And the truth is, all you have to do is keep holding on when others fall off and keep improving every time. And realize the value that you're bringing to the people that are following in your footsteps. And this leads me to my next big mindset shift. Are you prepared for the marathon? Now, I don't want to put anyone off. I'm here to say you can do it and you can shine your light and you can absolutely be the YouTuber that you should be. But you do need to understand that you need to seriously commit if you seriously want to succeed, because the numbers are in your favor. And just so I don't lead anyone astray, you also do need 4,000 watch hours, which sounds a lot bigger than it actually is. Looking at my channel, I've got, as of today, 257 subscribers over 7 videos. And my last video did over 30 hours watch time in its first 48 hours. And it doesn't always keep going up that steep. Mine do tend to go up and sort of carry on a little bit. But my very first video has like 150 hours already on it. So the point being is that if I can do it, and all I do is script my videos, film them, edit them, and take out all the bloopers that I do, and then upload them and go, then you can do it. I'm 7 videos in, and 6 years ago, I was trying to film videos just to put on my blog, and I was ending up on the floor crying and shaking and having panic attacks. And I felt so silly because I could see all these other creators doing it online, and all it was talking to a camera. I wasn't even going in front of people. The funny thing is, I do better talking in front of big groups of people than I do into a camera. And it's even sillier because my other half was an actor, so it's not like I was being judged in my household or other people were looking at me going, oh, you look weird, because the camera was his anyway. Don't need a camera for that. Shut up. So the point here is, if I can do it, you can do it. Anyway, mindset change I think we're up to number 5 by now. You start to not trust yourself when you repeatedly break your own promises. Okay, so that's more like the opposite of the correct mindset, and we need to find the solution to that, right? You really need to not set yourself up to betray yourself and to fail. If you can't trust your own word, you'll stop achieving anything. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, still working on that, like legitimately every single day. So be realistic about the targets that you do set yourself. Set yourself smaller ones to start with, just to build that confidence back up in yourself. But be rigid in keeping those promises to yourself. That's why I'm suggesting start small. This is the problem, I think, is that most of us, I'm totally guilty of this. I will make a really big goal and then beat myself up that I didn't accomplish it, even though I made it way too big to start with. If you start with a small goal and stay very rigid to get to that target, you'll start to build trust, build that trust muscle up again. Don't expect to jump from where you are to lofty heights, because then you won't make it, and it'll just be another thing in your proof archive that you're not able to. So really, really, really be careful of that. I record my stats daily so I can see where I'm at and where I'm going, kind of like a roadmap where you know where you're going to start and all the roads that you need to take to get to your destination. But I'm also really aware of the time it's going to take me to get to that destination. If I travel to Auckland, it's about an hour and a half on a good day. If the traffic's a bit slow, it's about 2 hours. If there's been an accident, it's about 3 hours and a detour through the countryside. And on the worst day in summer a couple of years ago, it was a 4-hour in the middle of the summer sun trip to the same destination. So if I'm planning on catching a plane, I'm going to be leaving here 4 hours before I'm meant to be there. The point being is that the average channel takes 15 or 16 months to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. And that's at one long form video a week. So I'm going to allow for 2 years for that. I'm going to aim for the end of this year. That's my target. But I'm not going to beat myself up because I realize that just like going on the trip, if there's an accident along the way, if there's something that doesn't line up properly, I'm not going to set myself up for failure by going, I have to do it by here. I have to do better than everybody else. I'm going to allow that 2 years. When you mentally prepare yourself for a journey, it's a totally different experience. You take the time to see all the sights along the way. I mean, if you were going to trip across America and take in all the sights, you would allow for, I don't know, a month or something. If you just wanted to get from one coast to the other, you'd take a plane. But you need to understand that what you're going on, especially here on YouTube, is a journey, because you have to learn a lot. You learn how the camera works a little bit better. You learn how your editing works a little bit better. You change your lighting a little bit, etc., etc. You upgrade your scripts. So just know, pack some snacks. Grab a really big cup of your favorite coffee, pack some snacks, and go. A lot of the big YouTubers, and I've heard Mr. Beast say the same thing, a lot of them are saying, don't even talk to me unless you've put 100 videos up. You're not really even a YouTuber until you've got to 100 videos. He's like, that is the baseline. Then you can start to actually build. But you need to get those first 100 up to really learn as you're going. I mean, I'm at 7 long form videos and I still haven't got my audio correct, and I still haven't got my editing the way that I want it, and I still haven't got my color grading the way that I want it, and I still haven't put C-Log on my camera, and I haven't figured out my LUTs, and I totally want to add in a lot more B-roll, but at the moment I'm just trying to get used to getting in the habit of actually filming. The point being is that none of those things are beyond me, but I'm allowing myself this first year or 2 years, these first 100 uploads, to get them right. So don't feel like you have to be, Peter McKinnon level to get started. Just start wherever you are and make every single upload one little bit better. And here's the thing, this is a journey. Start with the mindset that you don't have to win every single upload. If it flops, so what? Move on to the next one, figure out what went wrong, And then over time, you'll figure out what you enjoy doing and what your audience enjoys. And here's 2 other things just to put into the back of your mind. Number 1, in 100 years' time, all the people that you feel silly in front of now, or that you're afraid of judging you, all of them are going to be dead. As are you, probably, in another 100 years, unless cryogenics takes off or something. So think about that you could actually be making YouTubes for your potential great-great-grandchildren. And they could see where you started and have a bit of a giggle, but then maybe they could be really inspired by seeing where you ended up. We so often stop because we're like, oh, what will so-and-so think of us? And I'm absolutely guilty of it too. But then when I thought about this concept that in 100 years, we're all going to be dead and it doesn't matter, why not push play? And number 2, you're going to be here in another year or another 2 years or another 3 years on this very same date. Are you going to be sitting here on today's date in a year's time or 2 years' time going, man, I wish I'd started that YouTube channel? So it's simple. Drop your ego, get over yourself quickly, build a bridge, take a concrete pill, suck it up, cupcake, and just get on with it because you can. Stop watching YouTubes on how to start a YouTube channel and start changing over and watching YouTubes on how to improve your mindset, because I can guarantee you probably know everything you need to start a YouTube channel. Every one of us at some point in time has picked up our cell phone and pressed the record button and filmed our kids or filmed life. You know how to film, right? You can worry about all the settings and everything else when you go to film. The mindset is what is holding you back from sitting down in front of the camera or sitting down in front of your computer and writing about something that you're passionate about. So whatever it looks like to you, get on the mindset train, get in, get going on your journey today. Now, I also wanted to just really quickly chat about how it's affected my life personally, because I think this is really fascinating. Often we go, oh, it's just YouTube, but actually it's had some really profound changes in my life. I've had to put structure back in my days, and you know how the YouTubers always talk about consistency, you've got to be consistent for your audience. The big mindset change here is actually understanding that consistency is for you. Consistency is for you and for your sanity. Having a YouTube channel has helped me redefine my time and be far more intentional about big chunks of my day, which has led me to other things. It helps force my creativity when I know I've got time limits. It makes me feel good about spending time with the kids because I know that I've taken time for myself and I've also taken time for them. I don't feel guilty about where I spent my time because I've budgeted my time better. And my turnaround time for client work is getting better because I'm in doing mode rather than procrastination mode. So being organized for YouTube is rubbing off on a lot of other areas of my life. Don't get me wrong, I've still got a lot of refining to do, but I'm heading in the best direction that I have in years. The new normal in our house is being quiet for mum on a Tuesday at some point to film YouTube videos and to not run screaming around the house when dad's on Twitch doing his game development lives. The kids in my other half are proud of me for stepping up and doing something that I've been saying for ages that I really want to do. And I feel better about my time with them because I know that I'm achieving my goals at the same time. And even though I focus on content creation over consumption these days, which is another big mindset shift, I was watching a video by Layla Hormozi a couple of days ago. She is a multi-millionaire by herself and outside of YouTube, but she also has a YouTube channel. And she was talking about acclimating to a new normal. You just need to wait through it. And I thought that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm trying to talk about in this video. When you start a new job, the first couple of weeks are always exhausting. Not because you're not doing the same thing that you're potentially doing at your last job, but because you have to be on all the time. There's new people, new names, a totally different organizational culture. There's where are the coffee cups? There's who does this cup belong to? And hopefully it's not the crazy lady that sits like 3 desks down from you. It's the same thing when you start YouTube. It will be uncomfortable and it will be tiring for the first little while. My biggest advice is just to start simple. Script it, record it, edit it, and take out all the bits that you don't like, and then upload it. And the more times you do this, the more you'll acclimate to it. And here's the thing too. I am a quick thinker writer. I process through writing. So if you insult me, I'm going to come back with the greatest comeback ever at like 2 o'clock tomorrow morning or next week sometime. just is what it is. So you can either script a video like I do and then read it line by line. I'm getting better at going with the flow and remembering sort of what I was saying. But you can always tell my tired days from my good days because there'll be a lot more cuts on my tired days because I'll be remembering a couple of lines at a time. But if you're a quick thinker speaker, like somebody that does news reporting, then maybe you just need to jot down your outlines. So then you can jot down the outlines of all the things that you want to do, and then when you edit, you just take out the things that didn't make sense. And again, export, upload, move on to the next one. There's a ton of videos online about how to edit, so don't even let that faze you. Then each time you make a video, things will start to get faster. Your scripting will become faster, your editing will become faster. You'll start to feel more confident about operating your equipment. You'll start to edit faster and you'll find like quick keys and cool new things that you can do in different transitions, and that will just make the process faster and more fun too. And after doing it a dozen times, it'll just become part of your weekly routine. You just need to allow time to acclimate to your new normal. So you're going to do it 100 times and then it's going to become the most normal thing in the world. Then you can start work on improving your concepts and leveling up your content. You've got to allow yourself time to get past the uncomfortable bit to get to the comfortable bit. Now, the other thing that I see in some of the groups that I'm a part of are people going, oh, I just can't be consistent with it. I make one and then something comes up and then I don't have time to make one for another like 3 weeks. Yeah, I get that. I do. And I have done that myself in the past. But I'm 43. I've got 3 kids, run a household, we homeschool. I have big goals for this year and I am tired. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I am generally still going, often still by 9 o'clock. And then I pretty much crash. And then I start the whole thing the next day and we go 7 days a week between, kids' sports and doing all the planning and making lunches for everybody and dinner and all the normal household stuff. But in the middle of all of that, I absolutely have prioritized making my YouTube channel this year. I actively decided that when I looked at my priorities, this was going to be there at the top. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know that you're not alone. If you're like, oh, but I've got kids, or oh, I'm looking after my in-laws, or you've got other things happening in life, or you're working, we all do. The people that are succeeding in here are the people that are actively making a decision, a complete mindset change, that this is going to be a priority for them. And here's the thing, maybe you really are that busy, so make a video every 2 weeks, but just make sure that whatever schedule you decide on, that's kind of what you stick to, not for your audience, for yourself. Okay, so this video is huge, but I promised one other thing in my introduction. And this is one of my favorite things. When I started my channel, I wanted to share my experiences so that I could inspire others to shine their light brighter, to take the sparks of inspiration that they've already got and then fan that flame. And also to do activities alongside me, which is why when I started my stock photography journey, I'm like, hey, come and do this with me, because that way we can do it together and then everybody doesn't feel like they're doing it on their own. And then I can also leave breadcrumbs behind. Whether I fail or I succeed, there's always breadcrumbs for other people to learn from. In my comment section, oh my goodness, you guys leave the nicest notes, seriously. This morning I even got an email from one of my subscribers saying that I had inspired him to get back into a stock photography journey. I mean, does that really happen? People from the other side of the world reaching out and going, what you said inspired me to take action. And that is the exact thing that I wanted from my channel. In my comment section, it's more like a conversation. It's so amazing. They're talking about how things that I'm talking about resonate with them, and that yes, sometimes adulting does get in the way of following your dreams, but for some people it's sparking them up again. Just think a little bit forward. What do you want your comment section to look like and sound like? Okay, well, as you can see, I really love talking about this stuff, but this video is going to be long enough as it is. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tell me how I can improve my videos and I will add that to my list of everything that I'm going to be improving over time. So go nuts. No ego, want to get better. And just because this is YouTube, if you're still watching, please hit the like button because that is a logistical feature of how to improve on YouTube. Subscribe if you feel the urge, and like long conversations about random photography things. And if you're the kind of person that needs to know things first, the notification bell is for you. And just like I say in all of my stock photography videos, there is always room in the YouTube landscape for more contributors. And I'll see you guys in the comments.